Hi, welcome to House and Home Chat, Real Estate Real Talk with Dena and Chris. I'm Dena Mathis.
And I'm Chris Breitenbach. Hey, today in House and Home Chat, Dena and I are going to be discussing all things real estate. So we are going to focus on what inquiring minds want to know. In other words, we are here to answer your questions today.
We're the experts today. So if you are a frequent listener of our podcast, you know that each week we always have a small business shout out. We have a local expert that we love to focus on a topic.
Right.
And today the topic is real estate, and we're here to answer all those questions for you.
So today we are our own small business shout outs,
exactly.
And we are your experts.
Shout out to us. Here, high five.
High five. Even better, even better.
All right. So, at the end of our program, we'll also just give you a little bit of a snippet about what's going on in the market here locally in the greater Cincinnati area. So we'll end with that, but we'll just start in with some of the questions, the frequent questions that we get asked all the time, right?
Yeah. So one of the questions, I happen to be working with quite a few buyers at the current time. And so I am getting questions from more people about the buying aspect. And so probably one of the biggest questions,
right?
it is tough. One of the big questions I'm getting is, where do I begin? Like, what's the first step to buying a house? And I know everybody's going to think that my answer to this would be talk to your lender first. I actually, even before you talk to the lender, you know what, step back and look at your lifestyle and where you want to be and what you want to do, and look at your 5-year plan, right? So what are areas of town that you like? And are those areas that you think you'd also like 3 years from now or 5 years from now? Or why would you think about buying a home now? Is it for economic reasons? Is it lifestyle reasons? And really get your head in order. For lack of a different thought, is get your head in order as to your why.
Yes.
Before we actually go start thinking about the what.
Going down that road and going after appointment after appointment, right?
Right. Like, what do you think? And what are your thoughts on that?
You know what? I think you pretty much summed it up. You took the words right out of my mouth. I think when you sit and you do when we sit down and we have those buyer consults, those are all the questions that we are asking. And specifically, why now? Why is it a good time to buy now or to sell now or to move forward in the real estate arena now? So that's what you want to be thinking about, and you kind of slid that whole lender piece to the side, but I would still say know what your buying power is. So what is your affordability? Have an idea, but reaching out to that lender and knowing, what your buying power is a good place to be too.
Yeah. And I truly believe in an ideal world. I love when my buyers have that opportunity to, briefly talk to a lender, not get fully pre-approved at this point, but maybe we do go see a house or two that's in the price range. And then that helps you go back and analyze, is that what I'm looking for right now? And if not, what are those plans, to get to where I want to be?
So, it's a loaded question, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot there, but those are all good first steps. Really just having an introspected view of whys, and then you reach out to Chris and I, and we can really help you take you to those next steps.
Exactly.
So kind of along those similar lines, we often get asked, what's the first step in selling my home? And, that really, your first step is calling Dena and calling Chris, honestly, because we are going to have a very specific set of to-dos, whether that is walking your home to come up with those things that you should work on potentially, fixing or addressing, or whether your home is ready as is, or whether some staging needs to be done, what your timeline is. All those things are going to come as a result of a consultation with us. So really, your first step in selling your home is to call your favorite realtors.
Us. And we'll help you sort through that. Again, I go back to my answer for the first question. We're going to help you sort through that. Where are you going and why? Exactly. Right? And if you have a where are you going and a why, or at least you're getting a thought of a direction or taking advantage of an opportunity, what would it entail for you to get there? And so therefore, is it worth considering that move forward?
Exactly. Those are all great first steps. So call us. That's your answer.
It's all about the motivation.
So what else have we got, Chris?
Well, so we've talked about buyers, we've talked about sellers. So one of the questions that I get, and Dena, I'm sure you get too, is do you work with buyers and sellers? And I always kind of find this is a funny question because it's never even a thought to me that I don't. I work with people. We work with people.
That's good.
So, right, as a client, we want to handle the whole transaction for you. And both Dena and I are our own businesses. And when you hire us to buy or sell a home, you get us and us alone. And so we're going to take you from that first step in the conversation that we just talked about all the way through the closing table.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I just, would say the exact same things. I echo those same sentiments. Whether it is that you are building, perhaps even, we can help you with the building process. So it doesn't necessarily have to be resale. We are both very familiar with the greater Cincinnati area, so we can take you anywhere around town. But it is interesting. I get the same thing also. Sometimes someone may have already bought in an area that's not necessarily the area that they're living in. And then they'll come to me and say, oh, I really want you to sell my house. We already bought a house. We're under contract. I didn't think that you'd want to or be able to, or that you go to this specific area of town. But to echo your points, when you are working with agent on the buy side and the sell side, and you're coordinating all those pieces, it's often a much more seamless transaction.
Right.
So we're happy to work with either or, but of course, we're happy to help on both ends of that.
Yeah. I always refer to us as occasionally the party coordinators, right? We're event coordinators.
That's it. We coordinate a lot of events
because our role, right, is to market homes and help you buy homes. But once you are under contract, there's a lot of things that we're coordinating. And if you have that same person who's coordinating both your sell end and your buy end, it really does make things easier. Because if I'm calling a title company on behalf of you as a seller, and then I need to make arrangements with the title company for you on behalf of as a buyer.
Right.
Based on that conversation, we're not throwing a third person in there.
Yeah, just think of the party line and how many people you have to coordinate things through. So, it just makes things a bit easier and more seamless, and you know what the other side is doing without having to guess or ask, right?
Yeah. So one of my questions, and again, this is on a buyer's end that I thought was really good that I got recently, was what am I doing in this market to help my buyers get their homes?
Wow. That's a great question, actually. If you're out there as a buyer, what are you going to do as an agent to help me win this contract? So how did you answer that? Tell me what you said.
Because we continue to say that real estate is so very individualized, right? And everybody's situation is different from everybody else's. So that is my answer, is I'm going to look at what is your situation? What are the strengths of your contract to purchase a home? Whether it be you don't have a home to sell, whether it be that you are fully approved to buy a house, not just having a pre-approval.
That's a good feather in your cap, and you should use that and put that best foot forward if that's the case. Sure.
So what we're going to do is look at what is your best tool, what is your best thing that's going to help you get the house, and that's what we are going to focus on.
I think that's a perfect answer.
And it's right. Everybody's is
Right.
a little different.
Right. Yeah. And I happen to be working with some first-time home buyers, for example. They don't have a ton of money to put down, but what are some of the things that they have that are a greater asset, and that getting fully approved is a surety when a lot of contracts are falling apart for financing reasons.
Or
in that arena.
It might be something totally different where I have a client who's looking at some older homes. They've owned older homes. So we've highlighted the fact that they're not afraid of things like knob and tube wiring.
Yeah.
And
they're prepared to take those things on where other buyers might not. Yeah.
Right. And they're not afraid of having to update plumbing that's older because they've done it. And other people that might scare.
Exactly. So yeah, those were great reasons, and hopefully that helped your buyers, I think, probably feel more comfortable moving forward.
Hopefully.
It's tough out there.
It is tough out there.
You got to be patient, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of times we get we get some questions that I guess are very specific to people's needs. Like I get asked about a particular area. Is this a good place to live? Is this a good neighborhood? Is this a good school district?
What are the schools ranked?
Yeah, it will, or even like, is it a good school district?
Right.
And good is relative, right?
Right.
So oftentimes that's how the question comes at you, and that's how it's phrased. And good can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. So Chris and I are your resource. Basically, I look at it, I'm going to help you to find your answers. And I'm going to, tell you where you can find those answers, but I can't necessarily address that question for you or answer that question for you, because what might be, what I might think is a fabulous school district is great for my kid, right?
Right.
But we're in Mason. And I may love it in Mason, but maybe your child would thrive in a smaller classroom environment. So there are just so many things that are so individual that, we're there to help you find those resources, but not necessarily define what's good.
And I love, there's a phrase that we say in real estate, be the source of the source. And we are here, we can help you be that source, but we can't make those decisions for you. If there's crime statistics, I can't tell you if, I don't want crime anywhere near me, but what is it that a person is comfortable with? What can they sit with? And so we can help you with finding those resources. Please don't ask us to make those decisions for you. I recently had a buyer who said, only send me homes that are in the good school districts. And I said, whoa. I said, here's how it's going to work. We're going to
have to define good school district and how
you tell me the school districts,
exactly.
and I'll send the homes that fit your needs within those districts. I'm not making the decision for you.
And you as a buyer don't want us making those decisions for you. You don't want me to tell you what I think is good in my eyes is so different. Again, I take it back to school district, I think, because that's a big one. Knowing what's right for my child is something totally different for yours. So anyway, I think
exactly. Hey, that's a good.
I think we've beat that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else do we have?
I just had encountered this one too. And it's why in this market, with how crazy it is for buyers right now, why should I consider even buying a house at this point? And I think that is a good question, right? People are hearing how crazy it is and thinking, do I want to be a part of that craziness? Do I want to pull myself, or do I want to pull myself out of the market right now? And I think there's a lot of reasons people should be looking at homes right now. First off, there is some craziness. I will tell you, my buyers, we're looking at homes and we are getting offers accepted. Dena and I have this conversation continually because I have buyers out there where there's probably 50 homes they could see, and we're choosing not to. But there's
stuff to buy. I guess is the point.
There is stuff to buy, and so to me, I go back to that question number one. If you think this is the right time for you, it's the right time, and we're going to figure it out. But an article I was reading recently was talking about home prices, and then talking to some builders recently and pricing out homes. The costs are going up, whether it be new construction, whether it be resale. And if you look at a percentage, if homes go up, I'm going to use 10% because it's easy math, right? If a home's priced at $300,000, it goes up 10%. That's a $30,000 increase. At $500,000, that's a $50,000 increase.
Right.
So that's a $20,000 difference in. I don't want to necessarily.
It changes what you're looking at.
It changes what you're looking at. So if you know that your net is going to be $20,000 less if you wait a year, that's a thought.
Right. And the bottom line is also money is still pretty cheap right now.
Yeah.
So from that lending perspective, you can get a really good rate right now. You're, from that end, the buying power, you can get money for a good price.
If rates happen to go up, every time the rate goes up, you're paying more for what you're purchasing.
If the rates go up and homes continue to increase at the rate that they have been, then you got to consider what the end what your end number will be. It's going to be a lot less than what it could be today. I mean, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know, but if it's a good time for you, you've asked yourself the why, and it's that right time, we're going to help you get what you want, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So another question, actually, a neighbor of mine asked me just like a week or so ago, was about their home that's similar age as our home. And they wanted to know if they should replace their windows and if that was going to add value and if they were going to get that money back out. You know how that whole conversation goes. And it all
What'd you tell her?
I think, again, it comes back to that. Are you planning to stay? How long are you planning to stay in the house? And is it a year? Is it 3 years? Is it 5 years? What really is your plan? And, she gave me her answer. And, for replacement of windows, anything you look at out there, will give you anywhere between a 70 and an 80% return on your investment. So it's always a good investment, especially, if your home is at that age where it probably does need new windows. And then you start competing with other homes that have already had their windows replaced. And if you've got windows where the seals are all broken, for example, and you know how you go into that house and every one of the windows
everything's foggy.
And you're going to have a buyer come through and want all of that repaired, right? And so the way they do that, for anybody that doesn't know, is they replace the glass. Well, that can get pricey,
right?
When you've got, 10, 15 windows plus that need the glass replaced. So in those scenarios, it might be worth it just to move forward and make that purchase. But again, it comes down to how long are you going to be, I think, in your home. What's your plan?
I also look at I know we're in this compelling market, but when you're going through a home and you can tell that the windows need to be replaced, all of a sudden that buyer's calculating probably a higher replacement number into the price of your home, or if I'm comparing home A to home B and I have to replace all the windows in home A in the next 5 years, which home is going to be more appealing to me? So, you do on windows, you do get a high amount back from your investment.
It's great.
But to me, it also makes you more sellable.
And I would say the same really with many or most of those types of repairs. It cocomes down to the same thing. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway, I thought that was a good question.
Yeah, that is a good one. I'm looking at, Dena's got this beautiful light fixture sitting above me.
Yeah.
And so the great question, and we get this frequently, can I take my chandelier? Or, in
Yeah.
my last listing I had, it was the dining room chandelier.
Yeah.
Can I take the chandelier? And, my answer to that is absolutely. Let's get it down now.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we put your home on the market,
Right.
because number of reasons why. Number one, we don't want that to become the bone of contention within a negotiation. So let's remove it from the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Second, it'll affect the house itself, and one way or another, right? If you love it, go ahead and take it down and replace it, because you don't want somebody to fall in love with a room.
Right. And this is like a dramatic
piece. It's gorgeous.
So again, it's the first thing that you see pretty much when you walk in the room. And to your point, it changes the space, doesn't it?
Right.
If they don't see it, they don't know what they're missing. So take it down. Yeah, and I've had the same thing happen just recently. So anything that you'll talk to your realtor about all the things that are affixed to the home that have to stay as per the contract. And if there's anything there, some beautiful custom curtain rod or something that you want, take it down, patch it,
Don't let a buyer fall in love with it.
Don't let a buyer fall in love with it. Yep, that's the bottom line, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So a question that some listings that I've seen lately, and I've gotten this question from buyers, kind of what they need to do in terms of what they need to do to prepare their house. They want to know, can I sell my house as is?
Of course.
And you can sell your house any way you like. It's your home. You own it, right?
Right. Every decision leads to another decision.
Right.
And there are going to be mixed feelings on this. I have a buyer right now where a lot of the homes that are coming up on the market for them are coming up and are saying seller selling as is. And I will tell you, my buyer's perception of those homes is that something is wrong with them. And I've encouraged this buyer to see a couple of them, and we go through those homes and they seem just fine. But in their head, something's wrong with the home. So
it does get a perception in your
you
head.
get a perception that there's something that they're hiding, when the reality, the seller may not be willing to do repairs. That might be a different, from a marketing perception. Saying the seller's unaware of anything wrong with the home, but they're not going to be willing to do repairs.
Fix anything that might come as a result of an inspection. Yeah.
That's a different message to me than
I agree.
Sold as is, as is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I'm looking for problems.
I agree with you exactly. It is a perception, and buying is a very emotional type of decision. So those perceptions that we make often terms play themselves out as far as in the numbers, right? The offer is going to reflect that. So a buyer, I think, as we've alluded to here in some earlier questions, is going to evaluate or value a different dollar amount than what that repair may actually cost. So it may be a $500 repair, and they've made it in their heads a $2,000 repair.
Yeah.
So they're adding up their numbers, they're looking at what the things that need to be addressed, and they're going to value those things higher than the actual cost of repair in some cases. So just know that potentially the offer that you're going to get is going to be a lower offer than, possibly what you've got the home listed at.
Yeah, because I think when again, for me, it's just a marketing, I might choose different words. They're calculating in their head what they have to put aside to do repairs because they anticipate that it needs it.
Right.
Now, in your recent listings, because you've had a number of them, did you market them as is?
No, I didn't market anything as is. I will tell you what's happening in this market, and is that a lot of buyers are coming at you with promises to not make repairs or to basically take inspections for informational purposes. So it's not a good idea in most cases, and everything is situational.
It is.
I mean, if you've got a home that, I don't know, is an estate that you inherited or something, there are so many situations where you may not want to make, or it doesn't make sense to make the repairs.
Right.
And those are the conversations that you need to be having with your real estate professional, your realtor. But in most cases, no, I'm not going to necessarily, you know.
And I had a listing earlier in the year that was an estate, and so it was as is.
As is, yeah. It was actually your own kind of family property. So anyway, that's where I stand on as is.
Love it, love it, love it.
All right.
I know it is August, but we are getting ready for the Christmas season, and people who are preparing their home may be selling later in the year. And so we get the question of not decorating in general, but should I decorate for Christmas? Or I don't want to put my house on the market before the first of the year because I decorate for Christmas.
I want to put my tree up.
I personally think if you celebrate holidays, whatever those holidays may be, and you decorate, your house looks beautiful for the holidays.
It becomes more warm, inviting. Again, it's a mood that you've created to welcome the holiday season. And so when that buyer comes in the door, they embrace that same mood. So I don't think it's bad.
Right.
Yeah.
You decorate for holidays. Let's decorate for, I don't know, a party. You're decorating with joy, and I think people sense that joy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would tend to say, if you're somebody that overdoes it and you Christmas to the max, or whatever that holiday might be.
Okay, traffic patterns first.
Yeah, make traffic patterns, like you always say, follow those traffic patterns, and don't put the Christmas tree up right in the middle of the entryway. But just be mindful of not overdoing it, but put those things up that are gonna enhance the season. Yeah. That's all good stuff too. So a question that I got recently, actually, it wasn't a question I got recently. It was a situation where I took a buyer into a home where one of the bedrooms was actually a basement bedroom. Okay. And they called it a bedroom. And that's fine in a lot of cases. But that tends to be the question is, do I call my kid's basement bedroom, a fourth bedroom or a fifth bedroom or whatever, an added bedroom? So I don't know. I kind of have my thoughts on it, but I'm curious to know what you think about that situation.
So I have a lot of thoughts on this. First off, from a marketing perspective, I believe that you under-promise and over-deliver, right?
I'm with you 100%. That was my first impression, right?
And what does the auditor's website say too? Because if the auditor's website says this is a 3-bedroom and I'm promoting it as a 4, again, that buyer might be questioning when they're walking in. From a technical side, if it is in the basement, people are looking for, is there an egress window? Meaning, can they get in and out? Is there a closet? Is there a way for them to get out of the bedroom? Right. And so I've gone both ways with listings I've had in the past where I've said, certainly we can promote this as a bedroom. I've had listings where I've said, you know what, we're not going to market this as a bedroom, but you certainly have a bed in here and you're using it as a guest room, and people can see that you're using it for that.
I'm 100% on that same page. It's, you don't want to build an expectation of let's just call it a 4th bedroom that a family really needs. And then you're disappointed. Right. But if you're expecting a 3-bedroom and then all of a sudden you have this really beautifully, done 4th bedroom space, then it's flipped and they're very excited to have that extra space and that extra bedroom and be able to utilize it for guests or whomever. So it does change their perception. So it's all in how you set it up and present it. Now, a lot of these homes have beautiful walkout basements and they have egress and bedrooms that were intended to be in the lower level. And those are real true bedrooms, of course. But, we're speaking to something that doesn't necessarily have those same, that same criteria.
Right. So just a thought, again, very individualized, but
exactly.
Under promise, over deliver.
So what else do we have, Chris?
Oh, let me see. Oh, I love this one.
What?
First of all, do I have to disclose if I'm moving because I don't like my neighbors? Don't you love that? I love my neighbors, by the way.
Oh yeah, I've had neighbors, or I've known people that have moved because of bad neighbor situations. I guess it happens. People just don't get along sometimes, right?
And you know what? You don't have to disclose that. Obviously, that's a personal, just personal information. As a seller, and as a buyer, right? The reasons why you're moving are very personal to you.
Right.
So, and people ask me likewise, similar, I am asked consistently, well, why are the sellers moving? And I will never know that. And I don't need to know that.
Right.
Because what I need to know is this the house for you? And is it the value you're looking for?
Isn't that funny? It's oftentimes the first thing that people want to ask. Why are they moving? Why are they moving?
Right.
Why are they moving? And actually that is a confidentiality thing between the seller and the person that represents the seller. So
now the one time I know when people are moving is if they're relocating, because we probably are aware of that there's a relocation document that we need to be aware of for your transaction.
That's different.
That's probably the only time I know.
Scenario. But no, it's not a disclosure issue. You're always required by law in Ohio to fill out a residential property disclosure form, and there's nothing on there that asks you whether or not you like your neighbors.
That is for material defects, which are physical defects of the property itself.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So that's a non-issue.
Yeah.
Another question that I've had recently is about photos, and especially given this market where things are selling like hotcakes, right? People want to know, do I necessarily need to photograph my bedroom, or I'm kind of private? I'd rather not put a lot of photos out there. Can you just put a couple of exterior photos out there? And, I say, regardless of the market, whether it's a buyer's market, seller's market, your first showing is still online.
Right.
So that your photos still need to represent.
Right.
And if you've got buyers that are out there, or I'm sending them things, or they're looking things up, and they only see one photo or three photos or a few not good photos, they're just going to bypass it.
And I have seen, right, where it's just, people are just posting a couple of exterior photos. I have buyers who aren't looking at those because their assumption is, or they're only putting in a couple of photos of maybe one or two inside rooms. My buyers are assuming there's something wrong with the lack of photos. And so they assume that there's things.
You're being like secretive. You're not showing what's really there.
On the other hand, I understand though where sellers are coming from, because in our technology, in our world today, your home is sent to it's syndicated to several different sites.
All over the world.
So people are looking at your home, and I can understand that sense of discomfort. So it may be more of a thing where if there's items that you're concerned about, those are the things you put away. But know that, and part of it too is you're trying to have this no longer be your home. You're moving to a new home. And so it's also part of that letting go, and you need to let go.
Agree. For all of those reasons, I completely agree. And, regardless of the buyer market, you really need to represent, you need to put your best foot forward. And it's time for you to maybe, like you said, depersonalize as well, to get some of those, those personal things that maybe you don't want necessarily displayed out there. Gone from those photos.
Hey, I'm going to jump back to one of those buyer questions I've had recently with somebody who actually has decided to wait a year. And their reason is they love the lifestyle that they're in right now. They're very busy. They have a lot of upcoming things. And so they're not sure they're ready personally for home ownership. So the question I got was, what should I be doing to prepare for the next year? And
that's a good one.
I'll tell you, my number one thing was save your money. Build your credit. So I actually said, make sure that you're using your credit cards to pay for things. and make sure you're timely with any payment that you have. And then otherwise, sock away as much money as you can, because what that's going to do is give you more buying power, more flexibility for when you are ready to make that commitment to home ownership.
Did you do a walkthrough of their home? Did they?
They're in an apartment.
Oh, okay.
So they're just in an apartment and more concerned with, you know what, I love the lifestyle. I have a need to travel a lot in the next year. I don't want to be coming home on a Sunday night from traveling and having to mow my grass. Right.
Exactly.
Not going to be in a position to pay for it.
Exactly.
And so more from that perspective.
Got it. Yeah. But if you are in a home and you just decide that now isn't the time, it's not too early to have your realtor walk your home and help you with those repairs. So
correct.
Yeah, it's okay to stay. It's okay to say, you know what, our kids in their senior year of high school or whatever the situation is, we can help you with those pre-steps at this point, and help you prepare and be ready for that. Yeah, that's all good stuff. I think kind of one of the last questions I have, and maybe you've got some other things as well, but the thing with pets comes up often.
Oh, yeah.
And that's come up lately because I had a seller with a dog, and the dog is a nice little dog, but it's a dog, and is really yappy. And so when, people come in the door, and I've got my dog, by the way, love dogs. He's at my foot right now, sleeping. But, some people are not dog people. Some people are not cat people.
Right.
And your dog can be a huge distraction. It might get scared because
I feel so bad for them.
Yeah, for the dogs, and you don't want it to, bite anybody. I mean, there are even you might have, even if you have guinea pigs or a pet snake, I have a neighbor that has a pet snake. So even those things can really, I think, freak some people out.
Yeah.
People can be very afraid. They might not want to enter a room. It creates kind of some negative energy. So if you have a place where you can even, relocate maybe some of those, like your pet python, or something like that, and then maybe a dog daycare situation.
Your favorite realtor's not taking your pet python.
No, I'm not either. Sorry, I'll do a lot of things. That one,
and I can't take your cats.
Yeah, no.
But you're right, and I see it in dogs when dogs are in the home and they might be put in their cage or their kennel or whatever. And those poor things are scared. You've got these strangers coming into your house.
Right.
And they get scared. I think of the other pets that can't communicate that.
Yeah.
Right. We notice it with the dogs because they can communicate it. The other animals can't. And yet they're probably feeling the same thing.
Exactly. So
technically, they can be there.
Make arrangements. Technically, they can be there. If you can make other arrangements, try to make other arrangements is the way that I would address that.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. So these are just some of the questions that we have gotten recently. Feel free to email either one of us or text us or get a hold of us however you choose.
You can also
if you
email
have real
us
estate questions
at Dena and Chris Real Talk
at gmail.com.
So that's a joint email that you can email either one of us.
Yeah. And we will answer you directly. Like for all these people, we have answered their questions. They didn't have to wait till today.
We didn't make them wait till today's podcast. And these are questions that we've had just in the recent, but we get, you're at a party and the first thing people want to know is, they find out you're in real estate. They've got a question.
They've got a question, and these are those questions.
Yeah, and there may be some things that you don't necessarily want to ask your realtor. You don't, you just kind of always thought. You might not think that now is the right time because you don't know the answer to some of these things. But we're happy to answer anything that you've got.
And trust me, if you are working with an agent, we will never step on their toes.
Of course.
And we'll tell you if it's something that's a general question, we'll help you with it, but we're going to direct you to them.
Back to your agent. Yeah. So those are just some of the questions that that we've jotted down that have come to us recently. But we thought we would take a minute here and just talk about how things are going in the market. We've alluded to that here and there, and we try to get a little bit in each podcast. But here in the Cincinnati market, I think is pretty indicative of what's going on across the country.
Although I've heard recently, Cincinnati has been noted as the fastest real estate.
I know.
And the fastest. And what that means is our homes are selling quicker than anywhere else. And you know, we'll just leave it at that. But Dena and I had this lovely conversation the other day because Dena recently listed a number of homes and experienced this frenzied market from a seller perspective. And I have been working with some buyers and are seeing a different perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it was a big crazy seller weekend I came off of.
Yeah.
Chris had a big crazy, you know, buyer weekend that she came off of. And that's what we love about, you know, sharing experiences to make sure that we are timely about what's happening on both sides of the market. But, you know, I will tell you that the showings were just off the hook.
Right. Yeah.
Oftentimes just, you know, so that, you know, as a buyer, when you're looking and you see a home that you like and it says that they're holding the house open until a certain date, maybe 48 hours post-listing. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen, really, because of the vast number and the volume of showings that's happening and the number of contracts that are received. So for example, just, you know, in some scenarios here, in one scenario, my seller just got so overwhelmed. They, you know, were displaced from their home for like 12 hours. We had some, you know, great offers come in. They chose to make a decision and move forward. You know, as an agent, our jobs are always representing the sellers. Our job is to get as many people in as possible, to leverage as many contracts as we can get. You know, we want the best and highest opportunity for you. Sometimes it's price and sometimes it's something else.
Right.
But at some point, you know, it's the seller's choice.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. They may choose to move forward. So don't wait, I guess is my advice there. Don't wait.
And I've seen where buyers agents, even though it says it's going to be open, they're going to review all offers until a certain point. You know, buyers agents are writing those offers that are saying, hey, this is all fine and good, but I want my answer by 6 o'clock tonight, or you're losing this incredible offer. And so the seller still feels that pressure of having to respond and doesn't want to lose it.
100%. Yeah. If you want this deal and it's the best deal, then this buyer wants that answer in a more timely fashion.
Now, one of the things that I've been seeing, which is very different from the listings that you've just had, is with the buyers I've been showing recently, not every one of the listings we've seen have been as compelling. So as an example, the other day I was showing homes to a client and we saw one home that was priced at $360,000, and it was a revolving door. There had to have been 5 people while we were there. I happened to be a little bit early for my client, so I probably saw no less than 10 people touring this home.
Oh my gosh.
We went to a home, same area, $70,000 more, in the same area, and there was not a business card on the counter. Beautiful home. I would have not expected it.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, no business card. So we were there, and due to some scheduling things, we were, I don't want to say we spent a little extra time, not on the property, but chatting outside our cars. Did not see anybody else come through for like over an hour period. And then we went to a similar priced one in a little bit different area, and same thing. We were the only ones. And that had overlapping showings.
Yeah.
And so, some of those homes are still on the market a week later.
Some of them get price reductions.
Beautiful homes. Obviously, as a buyer's agent, I think everything's priced high, but I'll tell you, compared to the comps in the area, they were not.
Yeah.
And again, the reason I want to share that is we keep hearing this compelling side. It's not always the case.
It's not always the case. In a more recent podcast episode, we actually even shared with our listeners the number of active properties that were out there between, certain price brackets. So they're there. Some of them are sticking around because for one reason or the other, maybe it is price or condition, right? Those are the two things why things don't sell, like that. And some of them are taking price reductions.
Right.
So
I was just notified of 2.
Yeah.
That we did see that recently that have now taken a price reduction.
So everything, again, is very individualized. It's very personal. Your buying situations are personal. Your selling situations are personal. And that's where you really want to consult with somebody who's very familiar with what the market is doing today so that you are pricing your home competitively, but also so that it doesn't, and stick.
And agents who are remembering the details, right? So making sure that we're pulling the comps. I try to do it before, obviously for a listing, I'm pulling my comps, but I also try to do it for my buyers before we go look at the homes because I know we're going to write quick offers.
Yeah, quick.
So that they can actually see what's going on.
Right.
And we are looking at that days on market as much as we are looking at the pricing too.
Yeah, if something sat for 7 days, even it's like, what's going on here?
But if everything in an area is sitting,
then
for 7 days,
that's a whole different story.
Then that's a whole different story.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a fast market. That's for sure.
And we love it.
And we love it. It's a lot of fun. We've love helping our buyers, and when they get in there, I know you had a closing the other day. You were saying how excited
just love it
your couple was, and obviously everybody's got their situation where they're looking to move on to something else for one reason or the other, and whether it's now or 6 months from now. Just give us a call and we'd be happy to help.
Because it's always a good day to buy or sell a home.
It's always a good day to buy or sell, right, Chris? All right, let's cheers to that.
Cheers. Hey, this is House and Home Chat, Real Estate Real Talk with Dena and Chris.
Thanks for joining us, everyone, today. Take care.